Hello and welcome to Twirl Magazine's first ever podcast. We're so glad you could join us today. I'm Lindsay Pedersen. I'm the editor-in-chief of Twirl Magazine, and I want to tell you a little bit about what a podcast is. A podcast is like a mini radio show where we pick a topic and we explore it. And in the future, I would like to have guests and co-hosts and other people to help me discuss these topics. But since this was our first one, we didn't have anybody. So, if you're interested, please email me at twirlmagazine@aol.com. We would love to hear from you. Even if we don't use you as a co-host, we'll probably use your comments on air. So, let us know. I was a little bit at a loss of what to pick to be our first topic for this podcast, and I looked at the interviews that I took at Nationals, and a couple interviews stood out, and those will be the basis of our first couple podcasts. This one is about the NBTA teams and halftime shows and POMs this year at Nationals and what they can look forward to in the future as far as the world stage. Major Margaret Mann gave me a really good interview, and I hope you enjoy it. So here it is. This year we were honored to have Major Margaret Mann speak with us shortly after the conclusion of AYOP 2010. And she is the contest director for the halftime, POM, dance twirl, and twirl team competitions at Nationals. She is also freshly returned from the World Championships, where she was doing a little scouting to see what our girls and boys had to do to compare with the Europeans. Margaret, what were some of the highlights of this year's AYOP?
I would like to say that I was very impressed with all of the themes and the choreography that was going on in the halftime show twirl team.
Absolutely.
I think that all of it was within the age division, and they were all in good taste, and this hasn't always been at our national championships, and I feel like that it truly was this year. And in our dance twirl teams, our dance twirl team directors are beginning to pick out themes, and they are going for the costuming and the makeup more than ever before, and I think that is truly an improvement too.
What do you think teams and POMs should focus on going into a world qualifying year?
Some of the European countries are making a large amount of progress and becoming more and more competitive with the United States. And I think those of us in the States, we need to be aware of that. And of course, I am pleased with what the European countries are doing. They have made a whole lot of progress. But we, as Americans, and those of us that are doing teams, we truly have to be aware of the progress they are making, and we need to strive to stay one step ahead. Because that's just about all we are now, is one step ahead. 10 years ago, maybe we were 25 steps ahead, but not so much anymore. The United States really needs to pay attention to the new trend that is going on in pom-pom teams. We need to do more costuming and bigger themes and bigger pom-poms.
Absolutely.
We have not placed, I feel like we should have come in first several times at the World Championships, but we need to learn that we have to play, this is not a good, we have to play their game.
Yeah.
And they do costuming, they do themes, and they follow it all the way through, and they make beautiful pictures with those pom-poms.
Absolutely.
So we need to be aware of that, and I really would like to encourage all of our pom-pom team directors to strive for that too, because I would love to see us come in first place.
What advice do you have for teams that want to break into the dance twirl division here at AYOP?
They should be extremely aware of how important all of their body technique is. A lot of the new teams, I see that they have good baton technique, but not good body technique. And for dance twirl, it takes both.
Yeah.
You've got to have both to be that top-notch team. That's what I'd like for them to do.
We'd like to thank Margaret Mann for speaking with us and giving us her insights. I'd have to say, when Margaret was talking about the pom competition, I was thinking about the Stepperettes routine for this year. I have absolutely fallen in love with it. Their theme was witches, their costuming was perfect, the energy level and creativity was out of this world, and their formations were beautiful, and I just wanted to take a second to say I think that's the right direction, and good job, Stepperettes. At this time, I'd like to wish good luck to the Stepperettes, who are going to be performing on the Macy's Day Parade. So make sure everybody go check them out Thanksgiving Day. I'm sure your performance will be wonderful, and we look forward to seeing it. Quite frankly, I was impressed with most of what I saw at AYOP this year. I feel like a lot of teams stepped up. The halftime show teams were unbelievable. Julie's Touch did a great job with Dreamgirls. I really liked that one. I also liked Wheaton's Senior. I felt like it was dark, but beautiful and difficult and intricate. I just thought it was really well done. And Dynamics' routine that they do for Junior Dance Twirl, I just thought that was fun and upbeat and very appropriate for the junior division, and I really liked that as well. And I also liked Wheaton's Junior Dance Twirl team. I actually think that was probably the hardest division this year at Nationals, because both teams really put excellent routines out on the floor. As for the younger dance twirl divisions, the Jazz Dolls Flintstone was just awesome. They were so cute, and I really liked their routine, the costuming, the bones in the hair, everything was really well done. Another routine that we should definitely give props to is Wheaton's preteen dance twirl team, Transylvania Mania, I believe is what they called it. The level of skill and difficulty in that routine is quite amazing. It was very, very well put together. And finally, I can't comment on the team competition at Nationals until I say this. Wheaton did a great job this year in the 12 teams. They actually swept. They won all 10 titles, and I just thought that was an accomplishment that we should definitely note and congratulate them for. Their 12 teams are always very good, and this year was no different. I always look forward to these competitions at Nationals. I always find them fun and entertaining and interesting to watch, and I look forward to seeing what everybody's going to bring in 2011. Our sponsor for this podcast was Congressional Cup Weekend. It consists of a open tournament that anyone can compete in, an invitational tournament, which is, of course, by invite only, and a clinic. And this year it's at Mount St. Mary's, and it's the weekend of March 19th and 20th. And I highly recommend you go check it out. And as of right now, there is a DVD of last year's invitational finals. It's a really great video for twirling for educational purposes and for fun. So I really recommend you check it out. So let's take a look at a clip of the last year's finals. And if you want more information, you can go to www.congressionalcup.net, or you can email kcolin@aol.com.
Welcome to Congressional Cup Invitational, where the elite compete.
Thank you all for listening to our first ever podcast. As always, we are looking for article ideas for Twirl Magazine, pictures, anything you want to send in. But we're also looking for either a co-host or a special guest to come onto our podcast. So if you're interested in that, make sure you email me at twirlmagazine@aol.com. And one more thing before we sign off on this podcast, I just want to remind everybody that the deadline for the Collegiate Photo Contest is coming up. It is October 15th by midnight, and I'm really excited about this. We've got some great pictures coming in, and I want to make sure that everyone's represented, so make sure you get your pictures in. and the winner gets to be on the cover of Twirl magazine. Our next podcast will feature an interview with Carissa Wimberly, review the pictures from the college competition, and much, much more, so make sure you check it out. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.